Wednesday, and what a Wednesday it is. Wowza, it is Valentine's week, 2 days to go. We are expecting a polar, vortex, blast, snowmageddon, I'm not really sure, but the sky is literally falling in Portland right now. So we are here in a nice, cozy, warm studio with you guys. And most of you, I'm guessing, are working and you're just listening to us. So if we think there's something you need to see, I'll be sure to say, hey, take a quick peek, all right? I'm Teacher Michelle, and in the studio today with me, I have Teacher Annie. She'll be with you on Facebook answering questions and calling out questions for me. And of course, Ricky is running tech as always, and she'll keep an eye on YouTube in the studio. And then out in cyber world, we have Dove and Michael, and of course, Susie and Caledonia will be there to help you. And I'm guessing David and Leanne will be on too. They, however, have escaped the snowmageddon, and they are in sunny California at the moment. So, not that I am jealous at all that they're in a lovely warm spot, but they've earned it. We'll hold the fort down for the rest of the day and then go home and buckle up for the rest of the weekend. I'm going to grab my first piece and get started, and then we're going to have a little chat. So, you know the drill. If you're on your phone, turn it sideways, you get a bigger picture, swipe the comments off to the side. Be sure to put your tulip in if you're a member of the Tulip Bunch. If you are a first timer, please say, hi, I'm a first timer on live, and we will make you welcome. The Tulip Bunch are a very friendly crowd. And yeah, I think that's it. Anybody chiming in yet, or are they still getting settled out there?
They're trickling in right now on Facebook.
Very good. Well, while everybody starts to trickle in, no surprise, it is Valentine's week. And of course, Valentine's Day is on Friday. I'm wondering, if you're working currently in a shop, how's it going? How is it looking? Is it looking like you're going to finish strong this week? Or has it been kind of tick-tock, watching the clock? Let us know. Have you sold out of roses? Let us know that. I'm curious to how it's going where you are, so tell us how it's going and tell us where you are as well, so we have some context for that. I'm going to start with a vertical design, kind of a parallel design, in kind of the cooler tones, I guess I would say. One of the fun things about this time of year, and I guess I should put fun in air quotes, is sometimes flowers are random and hard to come by, and sometimes what you get isn't that great. And of course, all of the Valentine's Day colors, you'll notice there isn't a stitch of red up here. We've got shades of pinks, tones, tints and shades of pinks, and off into the warmer burgundy over here, but some other cool tones. Kind of the theme for the week was work with what you have. So this was what was in our flower cooler here at Flower School. Some of it was new on Monday. Some of it was leftover from Friday, and a few other things. But the reality is, when you're working on a holiday, you have to work with what you have, right? We just might not have access to everything that we want. And the goal, of course, on a holiday is what? Sell out, right? Sell out of everything that you have and make a boatload of money and then go to California. But ideally, I'm going to push this, I think, because I want to. Ideally, you bought well, you planned ahead, you took good notes last year, and you bought things that you know your customers are going to want, and you're going to sell everything you have. Now, the reality is, on occasion, that's not true, right? We all have favorite flowers, we all have things that we love to work with, and if you're like me, I tend to use those items up first. Perhaps that was red in my fictitious cooler behind me, and I've used all the red up. But I'm still getting Valentine's orders, and I'm still getting people requesting things, so I still need to make arrangements. So that's kind of what we were looking at today, is work with what you have. And in this case, you can see what I have in my flower cooler. I'm a big fan of reusing, repurposing, making sure that whatever I'm working with, I'm getting the most value from. Do you often have a little bits bucket on your table, little pile of foliage that you've torn off something else, or all those little broken heads, you're putting a dozen roses together and you snap the head off, or you cut it too short for the design you're working on, so you tuck it in a little vase on your counter? That would be me. My theory is don't throw it out until the party's over, because I might need that little bit of something. I might be able to use that little bit of something, and rather than go dumpster diving for it, it's on my desk and I can just grab it. So tucking a few of these liatris in here. Oh, I need to shorten him a little bit. They're too close in height. Give him a little spin. There we go. So are we getting some tulips chiming in with an answer as to where they are and how things are going?
Yes, we have a lot of people on Facebook. We have Drake from Salt Lake. I think Drake is watching while he's working. And
Of course.
Dove is also working and tuning in.
Very good.
We have Joe from Tualatin, Jim, Rick, a lot of people. Robin from Delaware.
Very good. Sounds like all the usual suspects are here.
Yeah, and then we have Lisa from Woodlands, Texas. Let's see, a lot of people. Valerie from Snowy, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
And let's see, I'm just scrolling. I didn't have time to scribble and take some notes. Diane from LA. I'm assuming that's Louisiana, but it could be LA.
Could be Los Angeles, yeah. I'm curious if anyone has said how their holiday is going. If you've typed in, I know if you're working, you don't have time to stop and answer that, so you can always add it later. But just curious as to how inventory is going. Are you moving things out the door? All that good stuff.
I haven't gotten really specifics with that, but let me look over at YouTube. But a special hello from Bill. Hello, my induction friend Michelle.
Hello, Bill. You must be a busy boy right now. Well, thanks for taking time to join us. It's always good to see you. I know I can't really see you, but I will very shortly. I'll see you in Palm Springs in a couple months. So,
right.
All right. Well, I tucked a couple of the protea in here just to give me a little weight down at the base of the design. Well, I'm tucking the second one in if it will let me. It's having a discussion with me as to whether it's going to go in or not. There we go. It's going in. You're going in. All right. So got a little bit planted in there at the moment. Need a little bit more. Just trying to think about what I want. Looking at my options. Oh. Maybe one of these little darlings. Oh, that could be lovely. Maybe a pair of those, because everyone needs a friend, right? A pair. So, part of the challenge, changed my mind. Part of the challenge at Valentine's Day is kind of knowing what your customers want, right? They want flowers. Cool. They want roses, sometimes red. But in the spirit of working with what you have, this is a Valentine's arrangement. In theory, isn't everything you sell at Valentine's a Valentine's arrangement?
Yep.
Think about that one for a nanosecond. So just because it's not red doesn't mean it's not a Valentine's arrangement. And I think sometimes we have to help our customers understand that just because it doesn't have red roses doesn't mean that it's not for Valentine's Day. So exposing our customers to something different, and if that different is just because that's what happens to be in our cooler, that's okay. My favorite, not really, phrase is, well, will you make it pretty? Yes, always. We don't do ugly here. But it doesn't mean it has to be red or pink or white. It can be some other color combination. For example, what I'm working with right here, nice analogous palette. It's not your traditional Valentine's palette. Oh, hello. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be. Now, I can put some things in this that might give me a more Valentine's-y palette, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
Speaking of palettes, and I never know how to pronounce, is it Cher or Sherry?
Sherry.
Sherry, she said that she sold more purple and oranges this year.
Good, and yay for orange. High five myself on that one. But good, because the customer's programmed to want pink, red, and white. That's just the commercialism that we have associated with this holiday. But I have found in recent years, if I have worked in another shop, that orange or bicolor roses and kind of a blushy, peachy tone. There's a beautiful rose, help me, Annie, Shimmer.
Shimmer.
Is,
or Free Spirit.
or Free Spirit is another good one. Are just lovely, and they're not pink. They're blushy, peachy, apricot-y, depending on what you want to put with them. They're kind of a chameleon, and that's a cool thing. So yay, Sherry, for selling something other than red, pink, and white. Anybody else having some success with other stuff?
Yes, so Drake also said that he only bought one bunch of red roses and he hasn't opened them yet.
Really? Well, you're very creative, so just a standard bunch of red roses for you that's all I have left. But good, that's wonderful. I love how you always show your customers something different, something new. Of course you can do a standard red dozen. And if you've come to flower school, you've been taught how to do a standard red dozen, a classic dozen roses. And we frequently talk about how you can upscale that and change it up, make it look a little more interesting or unique or expensive, perhaps, by changing your fillers and things like that. So the ability to take what you know and just change it up a little bit is great, and we teach you that at flower school.
We have a question about your knife.
Sure.
Some people are quite amused by the shape of it. So can you put that in the close-up camera, please?
I can. It's a pocket knife, just like the others. There we go, wrong way. It's Victorinox. Has a really nice blade, takes a really nice sharpen, and it's what I've always used. I didn't pick it with any great intention. It was, how would I say, dumb luck. I went up to the counter at my local wholesaler and said, hey, I need to get a design knife, and the guy reached behind the counter, grabbed one and put it on and said that'll be X amount of dollars, and I paid him and I went, cool, and then I opened it up and I went, hey, what is that? Didn't know that there was another option at the time. So this is what I've always used. I'm just
What
really...
is the term? Is it like a bill hook or something? I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know.
Knife.
Probably a bill hook. Most people just call it a curved knife.
Curved knife, okay.
Yeah, but I love it. It's always with me, and the nice thing is I'm usually the only one here that has that. So when I can't find my knife and I say, everybody hold their knives up, I know who took it. All right, so I need another rose there. Just looks naked. Need a little something extra in there. We'll tuck another rose, because why not, right? Because why not another rose? Tuck it down in there.
I just Googled it and I was correct. It is a bill hook knife.
Bill hook knife.
I was just
Excellent.
making sure I didn't just make that up in my
But you
head.
totally can. You can totally make that up if you want to, Annie. We're fine with that.
It's a toucan knife.
It's a toucan. I like that better. Trying to think. Oh, no. He's going to change his angle to be more inward, but I don't like it once I've moved him. So he's just going to be looking out. But not a traditional Valentine's design. More contemporary to some cases. It's formal linear parallel design style, but it doesn't really say Valentine's. I've got a little bit of pinkish in here, but I can enhance my unity by pulling some of this metallic up, right? Do you guys know where I'm going? Because it is Teacher Michelle, right? Of course, I'm gonna put a little bit of aluminum wire in here. Why? Well, one, because I can, and two, because I can. And the cool thing is, this is going to help me make it a little more Valentine-y, if you will. So what I'm going to do, I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing it. We'll check it. I'm guessing it's about a yard. Ooh, almost spot on. It's a yard. Yay me. About a yard, and then I'm going to curl one end of my wire here and make just a little coil, like so. Just a pretty little coil, trying to get it against my jacket. There you go, now you can see it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Now, you have to do this with your wire. If this is your first time, please tell us it's your first time so we can say hi. But if this is your first time, you have to do it. It's very, very sharp where you've cut it, and you want to make sure that you don't cut yourself or your customer by having a very sharp edge. So I have a coil on each end, and what I'm going to do is loosely find the middle and fold them up. And now I'm going to make myself a pick for my arrangement. And I've twisted it at the bottom, so I've got a little handle, and then I'm just going to hold it in my fingers and twist the wire up, like so. Woo! Not tangling it, if I can help. There we go. Keep my hand there. And give myself a stem for my heart pick that I'm creating. Trying to decide how big I want that heart to be. So you end up with something that looks like this, looks a little bit like a doctor's stethoscope at this point. Then I'm going to take those two sides and just kind of smooth them out a little bit. And then I'm going to fold them in like a little heart, just like so. Doesn't have to be symmetrical. I actually like the playful element of it being a bit asymmetrical. And I can tuck this into my design.
Cute.
Just like so. Now, not a Valentine's arrangement, now a Valentine's arrangement. Easy peasy, right? So, working with what I happen to have aluminum wire floating around almost every flat surface in this studio, only because I've been in here today, but it just gives me the ability to have a stronger connection with my container, which has some, it's gold metallic, and it also lets me bring in the holiday theme with that heart. Take it out, it's just an arrangement, pop this in, and it becomes a Valentine's arrangement. Now, you could make a couple, you could do them different sizes. Don't take a yard to make it, and your pick could be shorter if you wanted. The nice thing about doing it that way, where you fold it in half and then twist it, is it gives you something quite sturdy to insert into foam or a vase design, and it keeps it from spinning because it has that little flat bit at the bottom. So, how do you like this one? It might
It's awesome.
go home with me.
There's another idea. Christina, I think, I'm not sure. Somebody on Grace on YouTube said that if you could possibly put a little card enclosure in there.
Yes.
Depending on if the
Hold that thought.
Yeah, like a paper
Hold that thought. So another thing that we find around Valentine's Day is that people often go out for dinner, or they stay in for dinner, and you might have the ability in your shop or your studio to sell wine. If you can't, that's okay. There are some states where it's not allowed. Others you can have a sell-only license. They're not allowed to consume on your premises. It's just a merchant of said wine. These both happen to be non-alcoholic champagne. I believe they call it sparkling. This is Brut Bubble on the left here, And what was this one that you had? Oh, this is premium sparkling alcohol removed wine. So has all the fun and the bubbles that you would normally have, just no liquor. And that means that you could buy a case of this at a local store and have it available. Kind of cool. What do you do with it, right? If you saw Annie's live, was that 2 weeks ago, Annie?
I think so, 2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks, she did the wonderful box design where she included the bottle of sparkling wine in the box arrangement, which made it really transportable and a wonderful gift. But it's the middle of the week of Valentine's. You probably have sold out of all those super cool containers like that, right? So what kind of options do you have? So the theme is use what you have. So in my world, what I have at my disposal is a printer and a paper cutter, just an old school paper cutter, and a couple of paper punches and a sharp knife. You could use your design knife if it's really sharp, but an X-Acto would be better. And what I created was a little hang tag that can go on a bottle of wine or sparkling cider or champagne, and it has a little tiny vase, aka a water tube. So you've got those little shorty blooms, right? The ones you snap their poor little heads off of while you're working on something else. This is a way to take those little shorties and make something. So I don't happen to have a ton of little shorties at the moment, but I might grab one of these. We're gonna pretend. I think I threw out all the shorties last week. I got a little ahead of myself. My husband always says, got my nose over my skis. So what I could do is tuck one of those little blooms, just like that, into something that I made myself in my workspace, my studio, my shop, whatever. Didn't take a lot of time. This is out of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, landscape, divided into thirds. This is a 1 1/4 hole punch. And then I just took a ruler. I don't know if you can see this, but I just took a ruler and cut on either side of the ruler this slit right here that allows me to insert a water tube in it and allows this to then hang over the neck of my vessel. Very low tech, nothing fancy. You could get super fancy if you wanted to. I know if you go to a stationery supply store, you can find little door hanger tags already prepared like this with the hole cut in them, and they're 3 up on a sheet and they're perforated, so you can just slide them through your printer, put whatever messages that you want on the front of it. You could do different fonts if you want, and this gives you a very quick and easy and inexpensive way to make sure that you're using up those blossoms that kind of accumulate on the corner of your desk. A little bit of a bunny tail in there would be super cute too, or a little sprig of seeded eucalyptus or oregonia, something like that. That'd be super cute as well. And you're thinking, okay, Michelle, that's fun. I don't have time. I don't have time to put the printer. I don't have time to do this. I get that. That makes sense. I'm gonna move this one. We'll just add that.
That's super cute, especially with such a stunning rose bloom.
Yeah, the rose kind of makes it at that point. So, do you have aluminum wire, right? So this is just the Gold Oasis aluminum wire. It's a 12 gauge wire. It's what I just used when I made the heart, wherever that went over there. If I take that wire, I can make my own little bottle hanger, like so, that again has a water tube. Didn't have to leave the shop to get this stuff. It's just there. And I can tuck in maybe a cute little champagne carnation. What color do I have on this? I've got green.
Even the green carnation could be kind of fun.
Oh, I do have green.
Maybe some green hype.
Yes, got a little bit of hypericum with my little bits over here. Yep, whoop. Tuck a little bit of that in there. Doesn't have to be a lot. And I can just pop that into the top. Let's see what I'm doing here. Pop that into the water tube like so. Could add a Gaelic leaf to that if I wanted. And Grace, you were in my head apparently, because doing that little coil like I did, now I can pop that forward just the tiniest bit, and I can tuck, in this case, a business card, but it could be the enclosure card that fits right in there. Easy peasy.
I really like the Hypericum. It kind of reminds me of tiny little grapes.
It does kind of look like tiny little grapes on that sparkling Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, I'm going to show you how I made this. Same drill, same aluminum wire. Going to grab a water tube. Maybe I'm going to. There we go. This is a larger one. I'm going to start off by coiling the end of that wire. And these are really quick to go together. You don't really have to overthink this. So I've got that little coil that's on the front of the tube right here. And then I am just going to fight the wire, apparently.
Nice bracelet.
Thank you, I like that. Don't tell my husband, then I won't get jewelry. All right, take that, and I'm holding the little coil I made against the water tube. And then I'm just going to wrap up the water tube till I get to the top. On the top of water tubes, there's kind of a lip. That's what the cap fits over. So I take it right up to that cap. And then what I did, because I thought, all right, I could just wrap it around the neck of the bottle. That would work. But that would mean I would have to do all the bottles and have them ready to go, as opposed to just having these ready to go and then grabbing a bottle and throwing it in the cooler when I needed to. You could do it either way. If you wrapped it around the bottle, I would just take it now and coil it around the bottle itself. When I got to the end, make that little curl again, and I'm done. If you wanted to make them up in advance, find something you could wrap the wire around. In this case, I just grabbed a vase. I was looking for a PVC pipe, but I couldn't find the size I wanted. So I just walked around going like this. I need something round, and I found the vase. So I can do that same thing here. Just going to wrap, get that out of the way. Wrap a few coils around that vase, and then cut it off, and slide it off the vase. And then put that little coil in the other end. And the coils can be big or small. If you know you're going to tuck an enclosure card in each one of them, then make them a little bit bigger so you've got a little bit more room. Now, this is just ready to go. I don't need to do anything with it until I'm ready to put it on the bottle. And then I can slide it over the bottle. This can go, it can come around in the front, it can go to the other side, it doesn't matter. And then I can give it just a pull. Got a little carried away on my coil, it looks like. Give it a pull and tighten it up a little bit so it stays a little bit more in place. It's aluminum wire. You can mold it, you can bend it, you can get it to sit wherever and however you want. If you have the space, I would do them on the bottle just because it saves you time. You're only touching it once, and then it's just a matter of adding a little bit of water, a little bit of those bits off your table, the broken stems, the extra foliage that you trimmed off when you were doing a dozen roses, which you have since sold out of. So I'll take that one out of the way, move it, pop this one out of the way as well. And we'll just set this one aside. And then lastly, you're like, I don't have time for the wire, Michelle. I know you love your wire, but I don't care, don't have time, not interested. That's fine. I'm gonna put the wire down. Don't need the wire. But you could still enhance a bottle of bubbling something for folks. Now, this next thing I show you, the bottle has to be at room temperature when you start. Once you get it done, it can go in the cooler, and these you could do up and just grab them out of your back cooler, stick them in a grab-and-go cooler in front, and you're ready to go. So this is just the bottle. It hasn't been washed. I did wipe it down. It was a little dustier earlier, so wipe that down. And what I'm going to do is create a little bottle buddy for it, a little boutonniere for the bottle, shall we say. We all have that scrap pile of ribbon. This is all that's left. It's just a hanker ribbon, happens to be pink. Pink, kind of a Valentine's-y color, right? And I have a glue strip, and I have a water tube that I've already filled and capped. So, this is pretty low tech. Do you want me to do this into the close-up, Ricky? Would that be easier for people, you think, since it's mostly handwork? Okay, there's our... Driving the wrong way there.
Hand model time.
Yeah, not so good. Okay, glad I did my nails. All right, so we have a glue strip, and I have that filled water vial. What I'm going to do is, with my Teflon scissors, I'm going to cut the glue strip into 4. Ouch, not my finger. And then I'm going to take one of the 4 pieces, peel it off, and then I'm going to stick it on the water tube. I'm going to catch part of the cap with this, and then just stick it right to the side. I'm not going all the way to the top, but I am going just a little ways up. And then I'm rubbing that down onto the water tube, and then peeling that protective paper off. Pinch that, don't roll away. Then I will take my random chunk of ribbon here, and I'm just going to trim up the edges so it's not frayed, nice and tidy. This one happens to have wire in it. I don't care, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. Now, I'm going to take the ribbon and place it in the middle of that piece of glue strip. Not all the way across. I'm going to place it in the middle and line the top up. Get that started, and then I'm just going to wrap around my filled water tube here, and then press it onto the glue strip when I get to the other side. So now it's sticking to that glue strip. I'll give this a quick trim, like so. And then I'll take another 1/4 of that glue strip, and I'm going to place it over the seam in the back where I just connected the 2 pieces of ribbon. Now, when I put it on, I want to center it so it helps hold that in place. And I am not taking the plastic paper off the back. I'm leaving this on for the moment because I just want to show you the rest of it. All right. All right, we can come back up to full screen. So now I have this little water tube with a little bit of ribbon trim on it and half a glue strip, half under the ribbon, half on top, and I want to add a little bit of floral to this. So I'm going to open up the tube just a little bit, cut a little bit of hole in the top, and maybe some little spray roses. Those are awfully sweet.
By the way,
Yes.
Leanne commented, I think we need teacher Michelle to do a video called 101 Ways to Decorate a Bottle.
Well, you know,
Can I watch?
kind of get in a groove. It's like, hey, I could do this and I could do that, and then suddenly it's an hour of Michelle and bottles. But you know, could be worse. Could be worse. All right, so I have a bud and a little bloom, and what do you guys think? A little pit maybe, or some seeded uke, or how about some heather?
I was just gonna say heather, but I don't know if that's too pink on pink, but might as well,
It
right?
might be pink on pink.
It's cute though.
I like it. It's Valentine's Day. We're supposed to go all in, right? It should be everything pink. But we don't always have that, right? So the whole point of today is, say it with me, use what you have.
Yes.
Okay? So we're gonna use what we have.
Maybe a little sea holly action.
We could do that. That'll be just a little bit of blue. That's a good one. I just happen to have 2 little pieces.
I saw that.
That'll work. So I am just going to put together a little cluster of deliciousness here in my hand, and then feed that into the top of my little water tube. Oh, it needs I think it needs a Galax, Leanne.
Yes.
Absolutely. She's going to come back and go, where have all my calyx leaves gone? Michelle used them all. All right. So I just have the cute little, just a little cluster in my hand. I could tie this off with a little bit of bind wire. It doesn't really need it, honestly. It's going to stay put. So I'll give it a nice clip. Do a little taper on those stems so it's easier to go in.
Are you gonna bunch that into that water tube?
I am. I'm going to shove it in there like I need it. All right, so just going to slide that cluster of flowers down into that little water tube. How cute is that? It's just a little boutonniere for my bottle, right? So now I'm going to take the tape off my U-glue, and my bottle is at room temperature, so it's not sweaty. It's cold, not cold enough to drink, but it's cold, but it's not sweaty. And I am just going to tack that right onto the side of my bottle. And I can do a little fluffing and adjusting. Do I want that eurygium up a little higher? Maybe that bud. Just like that.
Cute.
Now, it's attached, it's secure, and now it can go into my cooler, and it'll be just fine. So, to Leanne's point, 101 things to do with a bottle with floral. Not quite. We've got a bottle buddy that's easy. You can do them in advance and have them to go. I can hear you saying, but Michelle, I don't sell champagne. I don't sell foodstuffs. I don't want to take the time to go get bottles to do this with. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Ricky and I were talking about today, and I was telling her kind of what my ideas were, and we were working through them, and she's like, oh, you know what would be cool? If you made them grab and go. And I said, just the flowers? And she's like, yeah. So, why not, with your little bits, make up 5, 6, 7, 12 of them, have them all ready to go. Just do your little bit of ribbon, your 2 strips of glue strip, whatever you have, and tuck them into a piece of Oasis, put them in a pretty container in your cooler. It could be an add-on item if somebody wants something additional, or they're buying a dozen roses and they say, oh, I'm headed to get wine for dinner, taking it to my sweetie, and you could say, oh, would you like a boutonniere for your bottle or a bottle buddy? And then you could just explain to them how it works, or have this sitting in the cooler next to it with a little sign. This is stuff that was just broken. This rose was broken off in the cooler. What are you gonna do with it? If you didn't need it for a boutonniere right away, you would just pitch it because it's in the way. But if I can take those little bits, those scraps, those pairings off something else and turn them into profit, that means I have more money at the end of the holiday, and I'm really making use of what I purchased. That's the key, is plan for what you're gonna sell, buy accordingly, and sell it all. Well, if all of this was just in a little vase stuck on the corner of my work table at the end of the day or the end of Friday, when we've all survived Valentine's Day, I'm just gonna pitch it. But I could turn it into, very easily, something that becomes profit. So, just a thought for you.
I have a thought.
Uh-huh.
I think those would be cute little things that if you sold stuffed animals, you could attach it to the bear or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You could either, use wire or ribbon.
Mm-hmm. That would be cute. Because quite often, fathers or mothers, family members are getting children a Valentine's, and balloons are kind of not a thing really anymore.
Really.
So having a cute little stuffed animal, and the bear could be holding it like its own little vase of flowers.
Just wire it to its little hands.
Yep, just
Little paws.
little handcuffs right there.
Oh, handcuffs. Oh dear.
Oh dear, maybe not handcuffs. So that's kind of what they look like.
Oh dear.
That's all right. So has anybody chimed in about different things that they're selling, that they're sold out of, that they're in? Any questions?
Not really, but they really do love your wine bottle ideas. Lots of different options. I bet they'll be able to do at least one of those methods with what they have in the shop.
That's bold.
And Leanne is still brainstorming on your new episode.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Let's see. She says we should call it Sparkles, Blush, and Bordeaux with Michelle.
Well, you just enjoy your vacation, Leanne. Don't you worry about programming. It's fine.
And then a couple people have commented that this just makes a really good host or hostess gift as well.
Absolutely. Valentine's Day is Thursdays tomorrow, right? Isn't it the day before Valentine's Day? So that could be a lovely hostess gift if you're doing a get-together with gal pals somewhere. If you're doing a Valentine's party, I know some friends that do a dinner and you're taking a bottle of something to someone, that would be a lovely way to do it. It's a fun way to dress things up, and it's what we have left over. In class, I know I always have a little table bouquet, if you will, with stuff, and I like to use it. I want to make sure that it's going to a good home, basically. Sorry guys, I'm fighting with the Salal in the pit, or not cooperating with me very well. So, I have, as you've seen, an assortment of things up here. And I'm just going to put together a simple hand-tied bouquet to drop into a vase. It doesn't have to be. So here we go. Look at this. Look at that little handful of stuff that I can't use in this particular design. So it's giving me materials that I can work with on a bottle, right? Just that little something extra. So I'm going to do the weave technique to get started. I might change it up a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what I feel like as I get going. So I know quite a few of you are still just listening, but I do hope you popped up and took a look at the little details on the bottles. And I know that some of our teachers, in fact all of our teachers, I'm getting ahead of myself, I need to strip these, are working for Valentine's Day. Annie had a pop-up this morning. She came blowing in sideways to help with live. And I think you have another one tomorrow, don't you?
Yes, we're doing like these DIY flower kits for a corporate client that has 3 different events this week. Happy hours and lunch get-togethers.
Yeah, which is a great way to do things because you could put those kits together, pop the flowers in at the last minute and deliver them to their office, and boom, they have a little party of putting flowers together. I think that's cool. And I think Jerry, of course, Teacher Jerry has a lot going on, and I believe Anna is also doing, Teacher Anna, that you saw last week? Oh my goodness, wow, how time flies. She's doing a little pop-up also, and she's also working with Annie. So apparently I'm the only one not doing anything for Valentine's Day.
Lucky you. No, actually we've been really enjoying this kind of different events because I don't know that I have the patience to deal with all those senders and recipients and multiple addresses, card messages, all that. I have great respect for our floral peers that are out there hustling and working hard this holiday.
Absolutely. It is, shoot while the ducks are flying, but man, it is a holiday and a half, is it not? Question for you guys. How many of you got the newsletter on Monday and you read Leanne's tips in that? Can somebody type in what one of the tips was? It's my personal favorite. Well, yeah, it's my personal favorite regardless of the holiday. It's pretty much what I do anytime I'm working for an extended period of time. Can anybody type in there what that is? It's a doozy. It's a really cool tip.
While we're waiting
Yes.
for people to type in on that, I have seen quite a few birthdays in our YouTube chat.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna give a quick
goodness.
shout out.
Yes.
Happy belated birthday to Roxy.
Oh, wonderful.
Happy birthday to Tess from Sweden, as well as happy anniversary this week.
Wow.
And then happy birthday to Teacher Dove tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. Well, Roxy, Tess, and Doug, happy you day. That's so exciting. Mine's in a month or so, and you just had yours, Annie, right?
I did.
And
The Chinese New
you
Year.
just had yours too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, Leanna and I are pretty close together. She's a little after me. But yeah, excellent. Glad to hear that the birthday in is alive and well. Did we have anybody chime in as a first timer? Do we have any first timers with us today?
I haven't seen any.
I haven't seen any, but
Okay.
maybe they're shy.
They could be. If really, seriously, if it is your first time, do say hi because the Tulips are a super friendly bunch. And we would love to be able to make you welcome. So I'm just kind of picking random things. I do have a little bit of a theme. I've got blushy, hot pinky tones here. But I could also throw in, maybe a little green. What do you think, Annie? A little pop of green in there?
I like green.
I like green. I like green too. I like green flowers. That's all I like, green.
We have some people chiming in with your tip as well.
What are they saying?
Brooke was in first with an extra pair of shoes in the cooler.
Yes, that is it. Brilliant. Putting an extra pair of shoes in the cooler. I work in Danskos, period. Today I actually have on my Dansko tennis shoes, and other than Lillian would laugh, I put one up here so you could see it. But putting that extra pair of shoes in your flower cooler, or if it's not raining but it's cold, just putting it outside is huge. There is nothing as delicious as slipping your tired feet into an ice cold pair of shoes. I cannot describe it to you adequately. But it is a wonderful, wonderful tip. And I usually get a giggle or two from people if I'm freelancing, or like last summer I worked with teacher Jerry a few times at her studio, and I put an extra pair of shoes in the cooler. It was a tight fit, and everybody thought I'd lost my mind until I put them on. It's like, oh yeah, this is really good. So 100% endorse that. If you haven't tried it, please do. It is just this side of life changing, honestly. It seems silly, but wow, does it make a huge difference. All right, so I'm just gonna tuck a few little things in here. And yes, I started with a spiral or with a weave, and now I'm going to a spiral. That is totally fine. It's my bouquet.
It's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid. I can do what I want. If I want to pop some green in there, I can. When you come to flower school, we teach you the rules of floral design, and we teach you the techniques that go with floral design. Oh, for crying out loud, fight me. And then we teach you not to fight with your food. But the beauty of that is once you learn the techniques and the elements and principles and you understand them, then you can start using what you know to be a little more creative, to change things up. I always hesitate to say break the rules, because I'm really not breaking the rules. I'm just using the rules that I know in a different way. So just doing a little weave here with what I have. He's a little tall. Where is he? Pop him down a little tighter. Getting away from me. And that one. So do we have any questions? Is anyone sold out? Did anyone comment on their product, whether they were sold out of things or
No,
Still
not so
working.
far. But I mean, we're on Wednesday, so
Is Lori with us today? Lori Schultes, are you on there? Last year, I want to say you were sold out by now, but it's a tough Friday. Valentine's Day on a Friday is a tough one, is it not, folks? We're competing with a lot of other things for Valentine's dollars this time of year.
I have a question. Since most of our viewers and ourselves are florists, flower people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like receiving flowers from your significant other, or do you prefer something else?
Is that a question to me?
Yeah, sure. Let's start with you.
Okay. So here's a funny story.
Oh.
So when my husband and I first started dating, my birthday was not too far after it started. And he sent me flowers for my birthday. He went online, this has been a few years, and he ordered the flowers from a 1-800 thing, and they, from an order gatherer, and they arrived, and I knew what to do with them, but they were not an arrangement of flowers. And I also knew what he had paid for them, because it's my business, and the thought was lovely, but he just didn't know what he didn't know. So I mentioned to him, I said, honey, that was the loveliest thing you've ever done for me so far. And just so you know, next time you want to send me flowers, just don't do it that way. You're gonna get a better value if you do the following. If you call a local florist, if you can go online and look for somebody, but then actually call them or look at their website. Make sure that there's a physical address on that website, that it's actually somebody who is in the town selling the flowers.
Right.
And I said, you could just give me what you were going to spend on the flowers, and I'll go to market and buy myself flowers and then come home and play with them. Hasn't sent me flowers since, or given me the money for flowers to do that. So be careful what you ask for. But I do love flowers. I love having them on my tables. You probably heard me say my cats eat them, so I have to be careful. I have to make sure there is somebody stationed around the flowers to keep track of them. But I do love getting flowers, and I love to give flowers. I don't know about you, Annie, but it sure feels like people in my world expect me to bring flowers to events when I come. And they don't realize as an event florist that I don't just have a cooler, I run in and grab 2 or 3 things out of it. I go to market and buy $400 worth of product to put together one bouquet, so it's really not practical. Not so practical. All right, so I've got this little hand tie here. I'm going to bind it off. A little bond wire. Use my third hand.
Someone said that Lori has been dealing with snow, flooding, and icy roads.
Gosh, yeah, she's had it this year. All parts of the country are really having it this year. It's a weather something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's something. All right, tie this off without my thumb. Nobody could afford it if we tied me into the bouquet.
Only a couple of people have answered the question, but flower lovers are flower lovers. They want flowers.
Absolutely. You know what would make a really great Valentine's gift for somebody?
What?
A gift certificate to Floral Design Institute.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Talking about doing something you love. Give someone you love the opportunity to do something they love. They could come to flower school and play with flowers with teacher Annie, with me, with Leanne, with teacher Jerry, with teacher Anna. That'd be cool. They could also use that and do the online program, which is also very cool.
And we have an upcoming wedding program. What's that, next Thursday? I think we still have some spots.
I think we still do in the Wedding Flower Boot Camp. It's a one day class.
We cover a lot.
That is an understatement to say we cover a lot. So I'm going to be a little noisy here, folks. I apologize, but I'm going to clip off my stems here. I'm going to tidy a little bunch. And you can always do a fancy vase for holidays. You can pick something that is evocative of the holiday. You can get cute vases for Christmas and all the other holidays as well. But we all seem to just have the ubiquitous cylinder, right? Depending on your market and where you can purchase things, you can go to the store that sells things for $1.25 and get a cylinder vase, right? So I could easily just pop this bad boy down in here. Give them a little bit of a fluff. And of course, add some water. I've been spilling things today. There's no water, that's on purpose. But add the water and I would be ready to go with a Valentine colored arrangement. It's not red, but it's got beautiful, beautiful fuchsia and soft, creamy tones with some blue undertones and some of the other roses. So it's in that family of colors. It's a happy little fella. But could I do something with what I have, these cylinder vases? Could I do something that maybe just makes it a little more, looks a little different, maybe takes it up a notch? Sure, why not? Because the theme of today is use what you have. So I'm going to take another cylinder vase. Ta-da. And then I stopped at the craft store on my way in today and picked up a piece of scrapbooking paper that happens to be a different color on either side. It's the same piece of paper, but I've just torn it. That's all I've done. Wasn't even too particular about how I've torn it, and I have some double-sided tape. So what I'm going to do, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Oh, except for the tape is brand new. I did not start my tape. That may take me 10 minutes right there.
Glue dots.
Glue dots, yeah. No, I want the tape because the glue dots are going to leave a bump. This is just double-sided tape. My vase is clean and dry. If you've got a brand new vase, if you use rubbing alcohol on it, it will take off that kind of film that you have on new glassware. I'm going to go with the raspberry side first. And I happen to like this white edge showing. It's kind of, I don't know, I kind of like it. If you don't, you can turn it the other direction, but I like it. So I'm going to take that double-sided tape and place it on the edge of my paper. And then I'm going to line the paper up with the bottom of my glass, like so. Stick. And then take another piece of double-sided tape, about the same length as the torn off section, and place it on there. And then I'm just going to roll it up like that. This is the part that I tore off here. It's a different color. And I've got that cool decal edge. That's what you call those scissors that you buy when it's a torn edge look to something. It's called a decal edge. Quite often on handmade paper you see that. But I'm going to wrap that around and give myself a custom vase. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with that double-sided tape. Just place that at the edge. I'm going to go with it in the middle like a little belly band.
Rick wants you to demonstrate the art of the tear.
It's kind of noisy actually, and I'm pretty sure that the microphone, I mean, not that I'm not noisy, but it's kind of an annoying sound to listen to. So
Rick, you just need to come to Portland. We've
you gotta come to Portland and play with us.
Yes.
All right, so I've just overlapped those right there, like so, and now I have a very inexpensive custom vase. If I bought it at that store, it was $1.25 plus tax, depending on where you live. I believe this sheet of paper was 3 for $1 or 45 cents a piece, something like that. I just bought one, and now I can take my water. We'll see how Michelle does with the water. I already knocked over 2 vases in the workroom getting ready for today. Add my water. Take that little bouquet. Pop it in. Do a little adjusting if things are poking out more than you like. I kind of like a weedy tweedy, so for me it works just fine. But now I have a completely custom container that's just part of my normal inventory. If for some reason this doesn't sell, all I have to do is peel the paper off, peel the tape off, and I'm done. You could absolutely put another little bow on here. This is not the ribbon I would select for that, but although that doesn't look horrible. So you could actually tie a little bow on there if you wanted and put a hang tag or an enclosure card, whatever you want to do. The thing I wanted you to focus on today was use what you have. Put a little creative ingenuity into things, maybe a little elbow grease and a few glue dots or double-sided tape, and you can take what you have and make it profitable. So, I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your week. Ricky's going to take some close-up pictures of our little bottle buddies, our little bottle boutonnieres for you to look at later. But I hope you have a wonderful week doing something you love for the day of love. Bye everybody. See you soon.